Hey, I'm Warren Sprouse. This is the Bible Forum, but you knew that. We're here every Sunday night for 2 hours, 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern, and we're here for you. We'd like for you to join us live. If you can't, it's on our BibleForum.net webpage. You can watch it. You can go to the Facebook page. We post them there periodically. You can go to the Ustream page and you watched everything for the last 100 years. I don't know. Politico is reporting that the president has invited conservative leaders to the White House on Thursday for the purpose of signing of the Religious Freedom Order. Now, conservatives want to know. They have inquiring minds. They've asked Trump to push forward a policy that would protect the rights of individuals and organizations to act in accordance with their religious beliefs without fear of a lawsuit or other sort of backlash. But the inquiring minds want to know, why do we even have to do this? Did we not establish this nation upon those principles? In early March, more than 100 conservative leaders led by Family Research Council President Tony Perkins signed a letter that was sent to President Trump asking him to sign a religious freedom order. The letter detailed a number of instances where individuals and organizations had seen a backlash for just acting out in harmony with their belief system. Critics, meanwhile, say that the policy would make it easier for people to use religion as an excuse to discriminate against others, particularly in the LGBT community. Translation: people would continue to have a different opinion about this subject, which is now a crime about nature. It's still unclear if an order will officially be signed. Two senior administrative officials told Politico that the plan was ready. Another said the plan hadn't been finalized, and another one said the draft is still in the works. That was last week. Whatever the case, the American Civil Liberties Union and Lambda Legal at a pro-LGBT firm have already threatened an immediate lawsuit if the order is signed. We'll fight it, Lambda said, with everything we have. We are prepared to sue in a very short time frame if the executive order closely resembles the leaked drafts. Question: when in the country founded on religious freedom did religious freedom become the enemy? When? Why is it necessary to sign an order to establish or support such a thing? Take the religious freedom question, for example. Number one, should business owners have the right to refuse service when certain practices are not in accordance with their religious beliefs? Note this: unless this is a qualified, overtly sinful, and politically driven behavior, the logical and traditional answer is yes. No. Meaning, I can refuse to serve anybody I like. It's a free country. In a recent poll, 53% of millennials totally disagree. They say you have to do what people want. Nobody can refuse service to anyone for any reason. And 43% of the people in this country support that idea. Should government interfere with peaceful religious practices? 93% of millennials totally reject this idea. So millennials are not fully supportive of freedom of expression, except when it applies to formal religious expression. There apparently can be no religious or moral expression in business. In fact, the majority of them err on the side of forcing people to disobey their God in order to obey their state. Troubling totalitarian demand, especially given that protecting this freedom inflicts no tangible harm. These people can go right down the street and get the same thing. They pick these Christian businesses on purpose, knowing that this is going to happen. The conclusion, in their view, is that the government has the right and the power to require citizens to curb their deeply held religious beliefs when it infringes on someone else's deeply held religious or moral beliefs. This means your deeply held religious belief is subject to external regulation, either by the government or by your critics. Case in point, should a college student have the right to express his or her unpopular thoughts and opinions without fear of punishment? 90% of respondents said yes. So 90% of millennials want to allow people with unpopular opinions to speak. That's a good thing. But as we all now know, it's not true. Millennial protesters do not merely view their opponent's speech as unpopular, but as illegitimate, to the point of violence. They will shout them down. And if that doesn't work, they will knock them down. Here's the inconsistency. Should the government have control over private property to protect the environment? 67% of the respondents said yes. Should the government be able to listen in on private conversations without a warrant? 74% said no, absolutely no. Question, should employers be able to set their employees' salaries? Answer, absolutely. But should government be able to prevent companies from building factories overseas? 49% said yes. 44% said no. But the conclusion is that it's not clear whether millennials love freedom or not. The result seems to suggest that millennials have never been given clear instruction in moral or political philosophy. They got stuck on don't hurt people. And what that means is all over the map. There's no coherent message. There's certainly no clearly morally settled idea. And these are the people who are going to run our country in another 20 years. Aren't you glad you're old?